that I considered when I saw it. I thought her knee dislocated, is what I thought I saw. Okay. Hell, I'm no doctor. I can tell you that right now. And we'll look at that in a second. Uh, but I got to tell you, this picture, and let me just show you right here. This is some video, of course, of her. Let me just turn this down. Limping off the court yesterday. The good thing is she did walk off the court.
Currently, no official medical report has been released regarding Sophie Cunningham's knee injury status. However, a medical professional specializing in sports injuries has provided preliminary assessment based on available video footage from the incident. A controversial photograph has surfaced showing Bria Hartley appearing cheerful and amused following the play that resulted in Cunningham's injury. This image has generated significant discussion among basketball observers and fans. The injury specialist suggests the damage may not involve the anterior cruciate ligament, instead pointing toward possible medial collateral ligament involvement or potential kneecap displacement as more probable outcomes. The expert noted that complete diagnosis requires proper medical imaging and examination.
Yesterday, the good thing is she did walk off the court, folks. You gotta say she did walk off. Now look, you can tell Bree Hartley, in my opinion, she launched herself into her knee. She did. And I've seen some of the reaction online. And guys, it's despicable. It really is. There's a lot of people celebrating this injury. And guess what? You can imagine who it is. It's
Video footage shows Cunningham managing to exit the court under her own power, which many consider an encouraging sign regarding the severity of the injury. However, her visible discomfort and altered gait raised concerns among spectators and medical observers. Analysis of the incident reveals Hartley's body trajectory appeared deliberate as she made contact with Cunningham's knee area. Multiple viewing angles suggest the collision was forceful and targeted the vulnerable joint structure. Online reactions to the injury have been sharply divided. Certain segments of the basketball community have expressed celebration over the incident, particularly fans aligned with specific players and teams.
Can imagine who it is. It's members of the old WNBA fandom, the ones that root for Paige Beckers and Angel Reese and Asia Wilson and all the usual damn suspects. All right, are celebrating this. They're throwing out the MAGA thing. I mean, the whole nine on this thing. They're celebrating it, right? They even got pissed that Sophie Cunningham was called a superstar. I kid you not. I saw that and was like, well, is it a bad time?
These responses have included political references and derogatory comments about Cunningham's popularity and status within the league. Some observers question media descriptions of Cunningham as a superstar, despite evidence suggesting she has become the second most recognizable player in the professional women's basketball circuit. The Indiana Fever organization has now lost both of their primary audience attractions due to injuries. The photograph showing Hartley's apparent satisfaction with the outcome has drawn widespread criticism. Similar imagery from previous incidents involving other players has created patterns that concern many followers of the sport. League officials, including Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, have remained silent on the incident despite public calls for disciplinary action.
Time to tell you that I think she's roared to being the second most popular player in the WNBA because I believe that's happened. And now the Indiana Fever has lost both of their top draws, both of their top billings that they had on the team. I said yesterday after she got hurt, Jesus, this is getting real tough to watch. It is, all right?
Critics argue that leadership lacks the courage to address problematic behavior due to fear of backlash from established fan bases and player groups. Also, supporters, comparisons have been drawn to the NBA's handling of similar issues under Commissioner Adam Silver's leadership. Silver previously acknowledged that political involvement and player misconduct had damaged the league's reputation and popularity, leading to policy changes restricting such activities. The Women's Professional Basketball League faces similar challenges with declining viewership and fan engagement. Multiple supporters have declared intentions to boycott games until injured star players return to competition, citing inadequate player protection measures. Medical expert Brian Sutter analyzed the injury mechanics on his platform, explaining how the contact pattern could potentially damage various knee structures.
It is. All right. So let's look at this picture. My boy CDS Sports Podcast, go subscribe. He's on YouTube. He's on Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. Go subscribe. He's got a great YouTube channel. He posted this. This is Bria Hartley right here, grinning from ear to ear with Sophie Cunningham smiling. I mean, that's
His assessment focused on the inward bending motion caused by external force application to the joint. Sutter's analysis suggested 3 possible injury scenarios: ACL disruption, MCL damage, or kneecap displacement. He considered MCL involvement most likely due to the specific mechanics of the collision and the stress patterns created by the impact. The medical professional emphasized limitations in remote diagnosis without proper imaging studies and clinical examination. His conclusions represent educated speculation based on visible injury mechanics rather than definitive medical assessment. Cunningham's social media activity following the incident suggested possible optimism about her condition, though no specific medical details were shared.
I mean, that's despicable, folks. There's no other way to look at it. Yeah, how about this right here? That chick grinning after Caitlin Clark got slammed to the ground. And then this chick. I mean, really? Unbelievable. And look, they let's be honest, when it comes to popularity and fandom, y'all can't carry Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham's water.
The ambiguous nature of her posts left room for various interpretations regarding injury severity. Questions arise about potential return-to-play decisions given the proximity to season's end. Some speculate whether Cunningham might attempt to continue competing despite injury concerns, though such decisions carry significant risk in an inadequately regulated environment. Critics argue that current disciplinary measures fail to deter dangerous play that threatens player safety. They advocate for substantial suspensions and financial penalties to address the problem effectively. Suggestions include implementing lengthy suspensions equivalent to significant portions of the season schedule, combined with corresponding salary forfeitures.
Carry Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham's water. Y'all can't carry their water. Nobody knows who the hell y'all are if it wasn't for your dirty, cheap shots. A lot of those kind of players in this league, by the way, that people wouldn't have a damn clue who the hell they were if they wasn't riding the coattails, right? Unbelievable. It really is. And I don't know. Right here. Here's my comment.
Such measures could potentially eliminate half a season for offending players. However, league leadership appears reluctant to impose severe penalties due to concerns about fan and player reactions. This hesitancy perpetuates an environment where dangerous conduct continues without meaningful consequences. The economic implications extend beyond individual player welfare to league-wide television ratings and fan engagement. Loss of marquee players through injury directly impacts viewership and revenue generation. Cunningham's emergence as a major draw demonstrates how individual personalities can elevate league profile and commercial appeal.
I don't know. Right here. Here's my comment. I tagged the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert, and the NBA. We going to just get radio silence from your leagues? Make an example out of one of these people, and it will stop. You guys are gutless. And do I think they'll do anything? Of course they won't. Because the old WNBA fandom will come for Kathy Engelbert, and the players will come for her as well. And that's part of
her absence, combined with other injured stars, threatens the league's growth trajectory and audience development efforts. The situation highlights systemic issues within professional women's basketball regarding player protection, disciplinary consistency, and leadership accountability. Until meaningful reforms address these concerns, player safety remains compromised and league integrity continues to suffer. The Indiana Fever's recent victory against Connecticut may have inadvertently secured Stephanie White's position as head coach. Had the team lost that crucial game and missed playoff contention, White's job security would have been seriously threatened.
Look, If it doesn't work when she comes back, that's when we should really be blaming Stephanie White. Stephanie White has been gifted the two best bucket getters in the league from the guard position. If she doesn't know how to utilize them, if she doesn't know how to give them both room to be the creators that they are, because they're both creators, y'all just don't believe.
The win provided her with additional time to prove her coaching abilities despite ongoing concerns about her tactical approach. Basketball history shows that exceptional talents often cycle through multiple coaches before finding the right fit. Michael Jordan serves as the prime example of this phenomenon. During his early NBA years, Jordan worked with several different head coaches before eventually partnering with Phil Jackson to achieve championship success. The pattern included Kevin Lovery in the 1984-85.
Because they're both creators. Y'all just don't believe it. Kelsey Mitchell's going to get her shots whether Caitlin Clark is there or not. She'll get probably more shots when Caitlin's there. She's not taking more shots. She's just being forced to create more of her own shots. Caitlin Clark creates some easy looks and easy buckets for her as well. The problem is the coach doesn't know what to do with two people that can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan.
This coaching turnover wasn't viewed negatively when Jordan experienced it. Instead, it represented the natural process of finding the proper leadership for transcendent talent. Organizations recognize that accommodating elite players sometimes requires adjusting coaching staff to maximize potential and achieve competitive goals. The current situation in Indiana presents similar dynamics. White inherited two exceptional scoring guards in Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, both capable of creating offense independently and for teammates.
Fry it up in a pan, serve it up to everybody, and eat for themselves. This is called a blessing. Stephanie White doesn't see it as a blessing. She wants an Odyssey Sims and Ari McDonald out there controlling the game. People she has leverage over and can control. I'm going to figure out a way like, oh man, I got Steph and Clay, except really what I have is Steph.
This represents a significant advantage that many coaches would embrace as an ideal foundation for building a successful system. However, tactical disagreements have emerged regarding how to best utilize these dual threats. White appears to prefer traditional point guard play with players like Odyssey Sims controlling the offense, rather than allowing Clark and Mitchell to operate as primary creators. This approach potentially limits both players' effectiveness and reduces the team's overall offensive ceiling. The coaching philosophy seems rooted in conventional basketball thinking rather than adapting to modern offensive concepts.
Really what I have is Steph and a knockoff version of Steph. I got two Steph Currys. One's not quite Steph Curry, but I got two of them. I'm going to figure out how to get the best out of both of them, and everybody's going to eat off of their plate, the plate that Caitlin and Kelsey put together. It's going to make Aaliyah Boston better. You got a big three situation, and then everybody else gets the scraps and leftovers, but that's not what Stephanie White wants. She wants a
Contemporary basketball increasingly emphasizes maximizing elite talent rather than forcing players into restrictive roles. Teams that successfully utilize multiple creators typically see improved performance from role players who benefit from the attention drawn by star players. Aaliyah Boston represents another key piece who could flourish in a system designed around Clark and Mitchell's playmaking abilities. When primary scorers create easier opportunities for teammates, complementary players often experience enhanced production and efficiency. This creates a cascading effect where the entire roster performs better.
Not what Stephanie White wants. She wants a point guard out there controlling the deal. It makes them weaker defensively because Odyssey Sims is a bad defender. She's old. She's not in great shape. But yeah, this could work if Stephanie White gets out of the way and realizes the actual blessing that she has.
I have to agree with you, Jason. I have to totally agree with you. I feel as if Stephanie White is an old guard coach. And with this new modern style of basketball, specifically the
The defensive considerations also factor into coaching decisions. Relying on aging players like Sims, who may struggle defensively, potentially undermines team performance on that end of the court. Younger, more athletic players might provide better defensive stability while still benefiting from the offensive system. White's adjustment period continues as she learns to maximize available talent. The second half of the previous season showed some progress in this regard, with increased freedom for shooters and scorers to operate within their strengths.
Specifically, the WNBA, when you got a guard like Caitlin Clark that can shoot like that, she do have to step out the way. I think we've seen that take place last year with Christy Sides. Reality has settled in with her, and she knew that second half of that season, if you want to make any motion, if you want to get anywhere within this league, you have to let Caitlin and other shooters on his team do what they are designed to do. And hopefully Stephanie White understands that. The way it's looking recently, she's been letting...
Whether these adjustments will continue when Clark returns from injury remains uncertain. The coaching evaluation timeline presents another challenge. Organizations typically provide coaches with adequate time to implement their systems and develop chemistry with players. This often means multiple seasons before making definitive judgments about coaching effectiveness. However, when elite talent is involved, the timeline for success may be compressed.
The way it's looking recently, she's been letting Kelsey shoot more than I like, but at the end of the day, she's kind of moving out the way. Will she sustain that when Caitlin come back? I don't know.
I'm not a big fan of Stephanie White, and everyone knows this. I don't see her doing anything. The thing that makes me the saddest about it, I know she's going to get all of next year. She's not only going to get this year, she is going to get the whole.
Clark's eventual return will serve as a crucial test for White's adaptability. The coach's willingness to modify her approach based on player strengths rather than forcing predetermined systems will largely determine the team's success. Basketball history suggests that coaches who successfully adapt to exceptional talent tend to achieve better long-term results. The comparison to Jordan's early career provides perspective on this situation. Multiple coaching changes don't necessarily reflect poorly on the player when the talent level exceeds typical expectations.
She is going to get the whole next year, and then they will evaluate her. There's no way they evaluate her at the end of this season. And everything you guys saying is true. She's not going to allow it to happen. She's going to, screw it up. And it's just sad, man. It really makes me sad to think that, it's like you're watching a car accident happen in slow motion and you can't stop it. You know what I mean? You can't. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Organizations must find the right match between coaching philosophy and player capabilities to unlock championship potential. Modern basketball analytics increasingly support offensive systems that maximize elite playmakers rather than restricting their creativity. Teams that embrace this approach often outperform those clinging to traditional structures that may not suit their personnel. White's ultimate success will depend on recognizing the unique opportunity presented by having two elite creators. Rather than viewing this as a problem to solve through traditional means, embracing it as an advantage could unlock the team's full potential and establish a foundation for sustained success.